Skin Hardaway 7T, back with another EP. And first things first, I'm going to holler at my guy, Corey Sanders. Appreciate you sliding through this, young Corey. He said, keep grinding and applying pressure. Thank you greatly, Corey. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support, the super chats, the cash apps, all that good shit. It's greatly appreciated. It's greatly appreciated. All that good stuff is greatly appreciated. And I mean that today, this morning, I'm here with an NBA tee. Got a little something on my mind I want to get out. As you can see, I already been in the chat arguing with my guy the Zoomverse about the Lakers, being in the playoffs hunt still, they are still in the playoff hunt. You know what I mean? They're currently the ninth seed. You know what I mean? I think they have Pelicans behind them, and they might have not really sure who in front of them, but I know for a fact that the Lakers, even though they're playing horribly, they are playing horribly, which I do agree with. They are still, in the playoffs. Now they are currently in the playoffs. So they're in the playoffs right now. They're in. If regular season ended today, they will be playing in the playoffs. If the regular season, which is not the playoffs, postseason play, regular season, if the regular season ends, the Lakers will be playing in the playoffs. Zoom, nobody's in the playoffs. Nobody's in the playoffs. What did you mean? Ain't nobody spotlight. I don't gotta look it up, Zoom. I don't gotta look it up, Zoom. Because you telling me that they not in the playoffs. They are in the playoffs. They are though. They are. If the playoffs ended if the regular season ends today, if the regular season ends today, will the Lakers be playing? Exactly. The Suns are in the playoffs because they're the number one seed. Their spot is locked. Right? Well, well, by your standard, the Suns is the only team in the playoffs. Yeah. If you're being technical about it, if you're being technical about the shit, well, yeah, nobody is but the Suns. So we just can't talk about nobody being in the playoffs, right? So what you doing is you being critical of me saying that they're going to be in the playoffs, basically. So really, the only team I could talk about being in the playoffs is the Suns, right? But by seeding, if it stopped today, the Lakers will be playing in the playoffs. Right, right. So what does 7, 8, 9, and 10 do then, Zoom? What do they do? Is the playoff 6 seeds? What do they do, Zoom? I'm finna drop the links. I'm tired of talking the words. I say they was guaranteed to make the playoffs? I said they are in the playoff zone. Since we like to pick on words, did I say they're guaranteed? You said guaranteed. I said they in the playoffs. Big difference. Big difference. Only team that's guaranteed is the Suns. Big difference. Exactly. I never said guaranteed. I said they in. You said guaranteed. Never said guaranteed. The only person guaranteed is the first seed. Right now. Never said guaranteed. I said they in the playoffs, which they are. They are in the playoffs. If the regular season ends today, would the Lakers go home? Nah. The fact is, if the regular season ends today, will the Lakers continue to play? So let me ask you a question. You a smart man. If the Lakers season ends today, will they play? Will they keep playing? And what is that called? Never said they guaranteed to make the playoffs. I said LeBron leading scoring. They're currently in the playoffs, and chemistry is the problem. That's what I said. That's what I said. Currently, as of today, they are in the playoffs. If the regular season ends today, the Lakers will be in the playoffs. They will have to play 7, 8, or 9 in the playoffs. Y'all niggas be extra smart, but y'all don't be that smart. It damn sure ain't the regular season. What is called? The play-in. What's the other one called? The playoffs. Postseason. Postseason. Not regular season. Regular season is what they playing today. What you mean? If the playoffs started today, the Lakers will be in. Which is exactly what I mean when I say the Lakers are currently in the playoffs. It's exactly what I mean when I say they in the playoffs. If it started today, they will be there. What's good, Mike Biggs? What's good, Mike Biggs? What's good, Mike Biggs? Yeah, I gotta get M Zoom because I hate when people come to my shit trying to tell me what the fuck I'm talking about. Like I don't do this shit too. Nigga tell me, look it up. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like I can't clearly see what the fuck I'm looking at. It's a playoff seeding. They got the first 6 seeds. And then they got 7, 8, 9, and 10 in the tournament. That's the playoffs. That's postseason play. That's playing to guarantee your spot in the playoffs. Fuck. Postseason play. 7, 8, 9, and 10 must play each other in the playoffs. Fuck. They're currently in right now as we speak. They are in the playoffs. Now, let's get my tea started. What I want to talk about. Because that's not how I want to start my tea. That's not how I want to start my tea. So let me get my tea started the way I want to get my tea started. The Lakers at the beginning of this season. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I picked them to win the championship. I was excited about the LeBron, Westbrook, Anthony. I'm gonna put my guy Corey Sanders back up there. Appreciate the support, fam. Appreciate the support, Corey. Greatly appreciate the support. But I'm a Laker fan. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a LeBron fan. You know what I mean? So I'm a Laker fan by default right now. I had high expectations of them. Coming into the year. My guy Zoom stated earlier that Lakers basically been playing like shit, which is 100% true. The Lakers have been playing like shit. They've been playing uninspired basketball. They haven't been playing, the hardest they could play. You know what I mean? We got a lot of little nagging problems. I think it's mainly, a team chemistry issue. Now, if you asking me, why I feel like that, it's because I feel like that the Lakers are the kind of team who will win a game, then they'll lose 2 games, then they'll win 2 games, then they'll lose 3 fucking games, then they'll win another game, then they'll lose 3 more fucking games, then they'll win 3 games, then they'll lose 2 games, then they'll lose 4 games, and all that shit. I don't know what that means. Tell me what's good, DP. Appreciate you sliding through this, John DP. But let's say They won't win 6 games in a row this year. What's good, DP? But yeah, like they the kind of team who will win some, lose some, win some, lose some. And lately, since the All-Star break, they've been losing a lot more. They've been losing a lot more than they've been winning. You know what I mean? They've been losing a lot more than they've been winning lately. Uh, and it's easy, what I see most people doing. What I see most people doing is, pointing the finger at, Russ, pointing the finger at, LeBron, pointing the finger at, Anthony Davis. But I really think that the serious problem is, I guess in retrospect and hindsight, and hindsight, it is all three of their faults. But I say it's all three of their faults, for different reasons. I say it's all three of their faults for different reasons. I say it's all three of their faults because they haven't had enough time to gel and enough time to actually play together and get on the same page as one team. Like LeBron, AD, and Russell Westbrook has played a total of about 21 games together this year. What's good, D Free? Appreciate you sliding through, D Free. What's good, fam? The Zoom said that shit because of their efforts on the floor. Period. Um, I mean, yeah, I guess, but they only played like 21 games together, and we've already seen from experience, and we know from experience, we know from watching basketball. You know what I mean? That it, no matter how good the players are, it's going to take a little time for even the best of the best players, to gel together. You know what I mean? It took LeBron and D Wade a little second. We just had an incident where Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden didn't work at all. Like didn't work at all. You know what I mean? We had a instance where Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, all played, type deal on the same team. We got Kawhi Leonard and we got Paul George all playing on the same team. Now, you know what I mean? So it takes a while even for good teams, to really click and to really gel. If I'm not, to really click and to really gel. We got a bit of a funny situation here. These guys haven't really played together much. You've had LeBron playing with AD. You had AD playing with Russell. You had Russell playing with AD. But the three of these players, really and truthfully, y'all, have really yet to be on the court at the same time together for an extended period of time and actually be healthy. And now I said all that to say this. What's good, G5? I said all that to really say this. This team is not even close to being as good as anybody thought that they would be. This team is not even close to being as good as, I thought they would be. You know what I mean? But still, even then, if the regular season ended today, the Lakers will still be in the playoffs. They will still be playing, playoff basketball. They will have to play the 10th seed. I think they're the 9th seed right now. They'll have to play the 10th seed, and then they'll play. I mean, they'll have to play the 7th seed or something like that, and then the 8th seed will play the 9th seed, and then they'll get a chance to play. The number one seed. You know what I mean? So with as bad as the Lakers have been, with as bad as the optics have looked for this Lakers season, with as bad as the play has been, from that franchise, that franchise is still borderline, in the playoffs. They got a game against the Spurs tonight, who is also, in the Western Conference Division. So they got an important game tonight, as we speak. I personally am surprised on how the Lakers keep losing all these motherfucking games, and yet they're still in the goddamn playoffs. Like I don't like I've seen this team lose at least 7, 8 times since All-Star break, and I'm baffled as how they still hanging on to this play-in spot. You know what I mean? But with all that being said, they still have a chance with as bad as they playing. Uh AD is supposed to make a return uh around, optimistically around, playoff time. That's what they've been saying, that when he got hurt, they said he'd be out for like I think they said 4 to 6 weeks, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a chance for Anthony Davis to still come back and play. I say if the Lakers are able to get Anthony Davis back, then that increases their chances like tenfold. That increases their chances tenfold. But in the meantime, in between time, you still got, LeBron at 37 years old, leading the league in scoring. And I know a lot of people, want to jump on the Lakers this year, want to talk about the Lakers doing this, doing that. They lose this, they lose that. But LeBron James has been, giving you maximum effort. Maximum effort as far as, trying to lead this team and will this team, to the playoffs to get their shit together and all that good stuff. I think we get lost in the LeBron hate, that we forget that this man is 37 years old. Michael Jordan was retired by this time at 37 years old. Kobe Bryant at 37 years old was almost a shell of himself. You know what I mean? Really, Kobe Bryant, at when Kobe Bryant had his time with the Lakers, where the Lakers weren't really doing good. They was missing the playoffs here, missing the playoffs there, and all that good shit. And I kind of feel like LeBron is in that place, right now. LeBron has only missed the playoffs once with the Lakers, but let's say that he misses, even though he's still, in contention right now, let's say that he misses the playoffs this year. I'm pretty sure that that's all that the storyline and that's all that the feed is going to be. Oh, the Lakers missed the playoffs with LeBron James. But if you really sit down and if you really look at what's going on, this man is leading his team in scoring. He's been without his best player in AD. You know what I mean? Him and Russell are starting to gel now. LeBron and Russell are finding their chemistry together, right now, because they have to try to keep this thing going and try to keep wheeling this thing. So they're kind of finding their chemistry together. We have still yet to get AD in there, to add him in the mix and all that stuff. So I feel like if the Lakers are able to just squeeze in the playoffs, my brother's keeper, what's good, my brother's keeper? What's good, Trap? What's good, Trap? So I think if they are able to just squeeze in the playoffs and they could get AD back, Christian here. I don't see Christian here. But yeah, I feel like if they could just get back, they could squeeze in the playoffs and they could get Anthony Davis, back. I think in the playoffs, it's gonna be a different thing. It's gonna be a different, feel. Because we all know that playoff LeBron and regular season LeBron, are different people. Certain players, just wake up for the playoffs. Certain players, just play better in the playoffs. And some players, play worse in the playoffs. You know what I mean? But LeBron is one of those guys who raises his game in the playoffs. And I think if him and Russell Westbrook, can sneak in there, if they could just maintain this play-in position and make it to the playoffs. I think with them getting in, the play-in, having to, dig down and win those games, or they go home. I think that's chemistry building. That's a team builder. That's what brings teams together type shit. And I personally, especially if they win tonight, they got a big game tonight against San Antonio. It's a divisional game. Especially if they win tonight. I could very well see the Lakers, maintaining this spot and actually getting into, the play-in type deal, because they've lost this many games and they're still in the goddamn, play-in, which is blowing my motherfucking mind. But I think last night, or the day before last night, they lost to the Washington Wizards. They put them at the 10th spot, but then somebody lost and they put them back in the 9th spot. You know what I mean? But I think it's the Pelicans, the Spurs, Timberwolves, all around 7, 8, and 9. I don't get it right. I don't get it right in front of me, but it's something like that. But I just wanted to bring attention to the fact that a lot of the Lakers, like my guy Zoom said, he feel like the Lakers are they just not playing hard enough. They're not playing good enough on defense. Or I think he said something like that earlier. But I personally just think that it's a chemistry issue. A lot of that come from playing together. A lot of that come from being on the court at the same time. It's hard for guys. It's hard for guys to find their roles and be comfortable within their roles when you constantly have changing pieces on the team. Like a guy like Malik Monk, it's hard for him to really find his role when Westbrook. You say when LeBron go out, he steps in more of a scoring role. When AD goes out, he steps in more of a scoring role. But when one of those come back, then he got to, play more off the ball and find himself that way. So just little role players like that have been finding it hard, to find their footing and find their way because so much mix and shit, going on. So much mixture of shit going on with these lineups and all that. I personally feel like chemistry really is the Lakers' bigger problem. I don't feel like it's the players or nothing like that. I feel like it's either Clips, New Orleans, LA, Denver Clippers, New Orleans, LA. Boom. So I feel like I don't necessarily feel like I forgot what I was saying. What the fuck was I saying just then, y'all, before I figured that off? Yeah, I don't necessarily feel like that it's the players. I don't feel like it's the players or nothing like that. I don't feel like they need to blow the team up. Like I heard a lot of people saying, they should blow the team up and whatnot. But I don't think they should, blow the team up. I just feel like it's basically a chemistry issue. Like I feel like when the players get back on the court together, when all three of those guys get back on the court together, for multiple games, because it's going to take more than 20 games for those to gel. It's going to take more than 20 games for teams to figure out, how they play, especially 20 games when you got, guys being hurt, all in between. Early in the season, LeBron missed some games. He missed some games, during the middle of the season, low management. I think Russell Westbrook has played every single game. I think Westbrook has played every single game. AD has missed majority of the season out with an injury. The biggest problem is the Lakers' injury, and that's affecting their chemistry, which is why did I say it's a chemistry thing, because we can say the Lakers this and Lakers that, but that's not the best Laker team. That's not the Laker team. The Laker team that's playing out there, the Laker team that's been playing, the last month or so, is not the best Laker team, that they could put together. The Lakers have been hit with injuries on injuries on injuries. You know what I mean? And an injury to Anthony Davis, who was one of the key cogs, to what you're doing. One of the key cogs to what you're doing. That's never going to be, good for business. You know what I mean? That's like taking, let's say that that's like when the Nets were missing Kevin Durant. They lost a lot of games. The Nets might be shit around 500 because of that time that Kevin Durant had to miss, and Kyrie Irving, had put the team on. Kyrie Irving and James Harden, and sometimes just James Harden when Kyrie Irving, had to miss games because it was a home game. Like the Nets took a huge drop around that time. They went from one of the best records in the league to almost like middle of the pack record in the league. So injuries, especially to key players, will put a dent in your team. And I think that's the Lakers' biggest problem. I think it's the injury bug, which has affected their chemistry. I think once we get Westbrook, LeBron, and AD all on the court for an extended period of time, the Lakers going to be a problem. I think the problem is just that fixable. As long as Russell Westbrook and LeBron could hold this shit together to get to the playoffs, I think they gonna be in good shape as long as they could get in the playoffs and start getting those games, off the ground. Start getting those games played. Also, let's just stop for a second. Y'all hit that like button for me. Y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button for me. I don't like y'all coming in here not hitting my like button. I don't appreciate that. But for a second, let's stop. Let's stop and let's give, LeBron James some credit for being 37 years old and leading the NBA in scoring. You know what I mean? I had my girl Destiny come and ask me the other day. She said, LeBron should just retire, T. LeBron should just retire. I was like, Destiny, who lead the NBA in scoring? And then I never got an answer. You know what I mean? But let's give LeBron James some credit right now. Let's give LeBron James some credit right now for leading the NBA in scoring at 37 years old. This man is averaging almost 30 points a game at 37 years old. Most guys would have been retired by 37 years old. And most guys at 37 years old, damn sure not leading the league in the NBA. And most guys at 37-year-old, damn sure not leading the team in rebounds as well. You know what I mean? So kudos to LeBron James for that. A lot of people not going to give, this man his credit. You know what I mean? A lot of people just find, a lot of people just like, I had Trap in here say, well, the West is weak. That's why he's still hanging on. Didn't ask Trap how strong the West was. The fact is that he's still keeping his team in there, injury bound. A lot of people, we just nitpick at LeBron. We find the smallest shit, you know what I mean, to find about dude, but we ignore the greatness and the big shit, that's going on right before our eyes. You know what I mean? How often do you have a guy at 37 years old who's leading the league and scoring? The guys around him are who? The Greek Freak, who's about 27 years old, and Joel Embiid, who's about 27 years old. So the two of the top three leading scorers in the NBA are in their prime. And then you got LeBron James, who damn near 40 years old. Let that sink in for a second. You got people telling me, oh, well, because LeBron just became second in the all-time scoring. You got people telling me, oh, well, he played 20 years. So, of course, if you play 20 years, you're going, because that shit sound good when you hear it. Because most of the time, they heard somebody say that shit. Yeah, if you play 20 years, you're going to get the stats. Well, Jamal Crawford just retired from a 20-year NBA career. We had Vince Carter have a 20-year NBA career. Kobe Bryant, had a 20-year NBA career, and he got pretty high. But he didn't get to where this guy at. You know what I mean? None of those, and Kobe is in the same room, but Vince Carter, Jamal Crawford, and there's plenty of guys who played 20-plus seasons that didn't do the shit that LeBron does. You know what I mean? So when people say, well, if you play that long, it's going to happen. No, because you still have to put in the work. You still have to play those games. You still have to put up the numbers. You know what I mean? So stop listening to them narratives, them Jordan narratives, when people tell you, oh, well, LeBron, he played 20 years, so he's going to do this. I never heard nobody. All I heard people give was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hella credit, hella love, hella respect for having a 20-year career, for being the number one scorer in the world. Never heard this many sidebars, never heard this many deflection tactics up until LeBron James started scoring all of these points. I even saw some shit like, well, LeBron played 1,300 games and Jordan played 1,000 games. And okay, that's true. LeBron played more games. But the same people that tell you that, not go tell you that LeBron James took goddamn 5,000 more shots than LeBron. They also not going to tell you, if you factor in LeBron assists as well, those times where he passed the ball, maybe if he shot the ball, where he really would be scoring there. You get what I mean? So it's easy for us to nitpick people. It's easy for us to nitpick here and nitpick there. But how about, instead of being a hater, how about instead of nitpicking for once, we appreciate what's going on? And if LeBron James at 37 years old somehow wheels this team in the playoffs, and the words that they're going to write is LeBron, missed the playoffs with Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. But context, Anthony Davis hasn't even been here. Anthony Davis missed more than half these games. He hadn't even dressed out for half these games, let alone played in half these games. You know what I mean? He's been at the house for the most part. So when if LeBron James does make the playoffs, and if LeBron James does lead the NBA in scoring at age 37, y'all never go hear the end of it. I'm gonna be here to give that man his motherfucking credit. Because what he's doing at 37 years old, your favorite player didn't do it 37 years old. More than likely, your favorite player had already retired. maybe a few times at by this age. But that's all I got. Skinny Hardaway, Sudden T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love. I just wanted to give y'all my breakdown, on this thing to let y'all know that I think the Lakers' biggest problem is not, telling they need to break the team down, trade the players and panic and all that shit. No, I just think it's a matter of them players getting together and them players playing together. Westbrook got to play different when AD ain't there. He got to play a certain way when he's there. Got to play a certain way when he ain't there. You know what I mean? LeBron got to play a certain way when Westbrook and AD there. Got to play a certain way when he ain't there. When AD come back, he got to play a certain way when they there, a certain way when he ain't. You know what I mean? So once they are able to all get on the court together and actually get games together and able to play together, you know what I mean, to learn how each other play, I think that's going to be a completely different Laker team and Laker look. I think that team going to be everything that we thought it was, you know what I mean, in the beginning. But that's all I got. Skin the Hardaway, Sudden T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Look.